only thing to do down here is mud race. And he was super passionate about racing and about fabrication. He liked to win, wouldn't take loss for anything, and so down here the mud is so thick, and so he kept getting stuck while racing, and so he was like, I've got to get bigger tires. So he went home, figured out how to lift up his Bronco so he could put bigger tires on there, and then the rest is literally history. That lady at 5'2" feels like the biggest person in the room when she's having to negotiate or talk business. We don't get rid of anything. We don't discontinue anything. We have jigs from like the 70s that we'll pull off a shelf if we need to. It's like, yeah, but we don't get to slow down. Like, we have to still keep being relevant, especially because, like, between new products and being relevant, I feel like those are our two back and forth. Do you want new products or do you want to go to shows? And it's like, no, we have to do both. For us, we like to say, because we mean it, but we're a people brand. We go where the people are. The product can always improve, but you can't always enjoy the people that are behind the brand or the loyalty that comes with that. And so if we have people who leave a company and go somewhere else, we're more than likely to follow suit because we want the loyalty with that person that we built that relationship with.
Welcome to the Ride in Style podcast, your turbocharged pit stop for automotive restyling. Buckle up with Jesse and Josh.
Welcome to another episode of the Ride in Style podcast. Today, our guest is Malerie Pike of Skyjacker Suspensions. Malerie, thank you very much for being here today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
I love the Skyjacker name. I mean, listen, anybody who's been around suspension knows what Skyjacker, knows the name, knows the legacy. Louisiana, right?
Yes.
Are you in Louisiana right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Born and raised?
Born and raised. I'm actually third generation family at Skyjacker. So born and raised here. This is where our 80,000 square foot facility is housed and home, and this is where it's always been. And so, yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. Well, we love multi-generation.
Yeah.
This industry has a lot of it. So tell us how Skyjacker kind of got started and then when you came along.
Sure. And so 1974 is when Skyjacker was officially it wasn't Skyjacker at the time. It was Lonnie McCurry's Full Off-Road Center. But basically, my grandfather grew up down here in the South. The only thing to do down here is mud race. And he was super passionate about racing and about fabrication. He liked to win, wouldn't take loss for anything, and so down here the mud is so thick, and so he kept getting stuck while racing, and so he was like, I've got to get bigger tires. So he went home, figured out how to lift up his Bronco so he could put bigger tires on there, and then the rest is literally history. The next thing you know, the next weekend in their neighborhood, like 20 vehicles lined up, like wanting to get their lift with bigger tires to go race, and eventually they had to move to a shop because their neighborhood was like, dude, you can't keep having like all these vehicles like parked on the street. And so that's kind of how it started. My grandmother and him built it. She ran everything as long as he was the hands of it and she was the brains of it. And so, yeah, 53 years later, here we are.
That's awesome. So when did you get involved?
So I actually did my own thing for a while. And so I didn't come in until I've been here for 8 years, almost my 10 year. But I actually came in because I had some stuff going on with my daughter. And so I came in, and Lee McGuire, who was the marketing person here for years and years, she was still here. So I came in on an accounting side. My degree and specialty was in marketing. There wasn't a job opening. There was rarely a marketing job open for Skyjacker in those days. Their team was great back then. And so when she took an opportunity to go to Real Truck, or Truck Hero at the time, I was able to step into that position. And so I've been probably for the past 7 years running the marketing department. I'm director of marketing now. I get to work with a ton of my family, which is wild, in the good and bad ways. We like to laugh. It's really funny. But yeah, so I really love it. It's the best industry, the best people. And so it just fits our lifestyle.
How many family members are involved? I'm curious. Yeah, if we could go into that a little bit. What's it like working together with them?
So I can say this, because we just did our 50-year anniversary within the last 5 years. And so we built the history walls for SEMA, and it was like 50 foot down and back of just like the history. And so we got to really go back through all of that, which was really special for those of us who weren't here for those first 25 years of all the blood, sweat, tears. Because, I don't know if any of us would survive having to do it how they did it, right? My grandparents, who are the founders, and then the other 2 owners are my mom and then my uncle. So it's 4 owners, the parents and the siblings. And then we have me, Evan, Ashton, Allison, Alston. So 5 third generation working in the company now. We've had everyone really in and out. Some people are doing their own thing now or have moved off and are doing different things, but 5 third gen as of now.
I don't know what the statistics are on that, but that's rare.
Yeah.
Oh, it is rare. It's
Yeah.
rare. It's definitely good and bad, right?
Yeah.
Because when you fight, you're like, it feels way bigger. It was with somebody, just a coworker, but when it's good and when you're all on the same page, you really feel like you can move mountains. Because I feel like us third gen, we really have to team up a lot. It's really hard. I think the biggest struggle would be working with having all 3 generations in the business. They communicate so much differently than we do. Their work ethic view is so much different than ours. If you're not here 7 to 7, then you're not working hard. And a lot of us can work anywhere now with our phones or laptops. Like, we don't have to be 7 to 7 sitting at our desk. Like, it's been a ride. I would never change any. Still have first gen be here and work. My grandfather's still here every day.
And your grandmother? We lost you a little bit there. Your internet's in and out a little bit. So what about your grandmother? Is she there every day too?
Up until COVID, like the big wave of COVID, she went through not getting sick that whole time, and she actually got and she's had some health things her health has definitely not been what we would hope. And so she does not come into work anymore. She still comes and visits, but that was a hard hit because that lady at 5'2" feels like the biggest person in the room when she's having to negotiate or talk business. She's the workhorse and the brains. It's been hard to not have that to the next going forward, but
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So how has the business, and from your viewpoint, obviously their viewpoint's a little different, but from your viewpoint, how has the business changed just in the last 8 years you've been there?
Oh, it's changed so much. So when I first came into the marketing department, we were still basically wholesale only. We had a few direct things here and there. Even our website and data wasn't even up to par. It was more for information on our website, more so than like a friendly shopping experience. Of course, our IT manager's like, I told y'all, but once COVID hit, we went from like 30 small packages a day or week to like 300 a day. And so it was like boots on the ground, everybody give everything they can to update data, update images, update processes. And it was just like a whole new whirlwind. So, it's like we have 4 or 5 different avenues of business between e-commerce, direct, wholesale, our DEL groups. It's like marketing is different for each one, contracts are different for each one, supply, it opened it up into this whole new world. Because when they first started, it was mail order. And then I forget what year it was, I have it somewhere, but then they transitioned into wholesale, and that's when they started going to SEMA. and that kind of stuff. And so it's been that and 3-step for years and years and years. So when COVID hit, it changed the game in so many ways. Yeah.
You had to start doing retail again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
And what's crazy is we thought that, back in, well, at least pre-COVID years, if you were doing retail as well, it really rubbed wrong with your wholesale guys.
Yeah.
We have found that as long as we respect price, respect MAP and all those things, we actually are being able to do a lot of both. And we are actually our number one customer.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But we still have our wholesale guys as well. And it's a close runner for that. But it definitely forced us to advance and forced us to be up to date.
Yeah.
So
is just like what's your top SKUs? Is it Jeeps? Is it trucks?
I would say our top SKUs are more of like shocks. Shocks are a massive part of our business. And so, but I would say probably more Jeep than truck, just because we haven't stayed as up to date on truck. Because when Jeep blew up for us, it just really took over for a really long time, and we were out of an engineer for a little bit. That we have an engineer back, which has been great, obviously, for us. But it's more of like shocks or like old pitman arm things, and our leaf springs are major. A lot of our competitors stopped selling leaf springs. We don't get rid of anything. We don't discontinue anything. We have jigs from like the 70s that we'll pull off a shelf if we need to. And so thankfully, when COVID hit, most people wanted to go back and start rebuilding and get, work with their hands more, get in the shop, get in the garage, whatever. And we were one of the only ones that had all those parts still. So we definitely felt the love during that time when a lot of people struggled. We actually were and we do a lot of the manufacturing in-house. We have SJ Manufacturing here as well. We manufacture most of our products. And so we were able to really come out of COVID unscathed.
Yeah.
Mallory, I love that you're in marketing, and we don't get very many on here that are, and that's my background too. And I have to ask you, when you first started to go and get schooling in marketing, were you thinking you were going to come back and apply it in aftermarket for your family business? Or
no, it's crazy. What's so wild is my cousin, who is following the path of his dad, Evan, and he's on a lot of our other social things. This has been his life. He was in the car seat in Moab. Okay. He has always wanted to be a part of this industry, whatever. I played sports and was super active as a kid. And I don't know if it's just because my mom was on the finance side, which wasn't the event and out being seen side. It was more the behind the closed door side. I don't hardly ever remember Skyjacker as a kid. I remember that I went to an event here or there, but my life and passions were in other places. And so it wasn't until I got older and did my own thing. And like I said, some shifting stuff with family kind of helped draw me back in. And I'm so glad that it did. I also feel like I was able to take a lot of business experience and things that I'd learned and brought them here, which helped.
And tell me a little bit more about that. How did you apply it, and was it boring at first or interesting, or,
No, definitely not boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just remember my first event was Moab, and I'm walking around one chick with 14 dudes. I'm what? Our whole group is always so big when we travel, because when we do finally get out, as in being in West Monroe, when we go somewhere, we might as well all go and all have our meetings, because we just don't get out a lot. I mean, it's really hard logistically because all of our people are, not in Louisiana. And so anyway, I always roll with such a big crew. And so I feel like I had it really easy coming into the industry because I had my family's reputation and relationships that I got thrown straight into. And we have some incredible employees. We have 40 non-family, 40, 30, 35, 4 or 5 who just hit 25 this year, years of service and work here. And so I just was able to just kind of pick up and roll with it. And so I was super green to the aftermarket side. I was good at the people side, but I had no clue. If you'd asked me about suspension, I was like, Like refer to Tom or refer to whatever. Like you know, you want to do a social media post, I could do that. Like, so when I first came in, I think just being open to say like, hey, I'm super green. All these guys can give you all the info that you need kind of just helped. But yes, not boring for a second. So
When you went to like Moab, I mean, are you a car person, or do you really, or do you just like the business side of it?
I just like didn't really care. Like I guess I grew up.
Yay,
I
finally
grew up
somebody else, Jesse.
around it, which like my husband is super like racetrack, like never did anything high and slow. He wanted to go low and fast. And so
Yeah.
like, for him, it was super different. But for me, I just was like, I was always kind of around Jeeps, not like the Moab side though. So like the first time I got to go to Moab in the road, I was like, whoa, you're going where? Because you're not going over that with me and you get out and walk, you know. But I quickly learned to just like love it as much as any other enthusiast. So even though I feel like mine came later in life, I still feel like I have the same amount of passion and appreciation for all the people in the industry and what it brings.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let me ask you about, so what made you guys at Skyjacker jump into like the Polaris stuff?
Oh my gosh. My grandfather, if he could lift it, he wanted to do it. You know, and so he still has his Polaris that's like super decked out. I can say that though we did miss the mark on some of those things, and I think it's just being a small family business because even though we sell worldwide, we are worldwide. We have dealers in all parts of the world. We are like a 50 employee based company in Western Louisiana. So it's like our event team was all the people who like run the business. And so I do feel like we missed being able to get into different markets early on, especially because we manufacture, like we have a manufacturing warehouse. Like, but that is part of that first generation, respectfully, obviously, but it's just very one track minded. And I feel like because we didn't have a sales group to help branch out to the Polaris and other things, it just kind of died. And then when that wasn't our bread and butter, it was like, okay, end it, move on,
Yeah.
kind of thing. I do think if we would have stayed in that or had somebody help kind of navigate that world, it really could have been a major thing. But it's just one of those you got to look back on and be like, dang, we missed the mark on that because we were in it really earlier than a lot of people who were actually take over a lot of that market now. But you know, can't change it. You know.
So where do the challenges lie now for you guys in the marketing department, and or maybe just the business in general? What are the challenges moving forward that you guys are trying to, especially the third generation's putting their head together and go, okay, how are we going to make sure we're around for the fourth generation?
Yeah, it's a challenge for sure. I think the thing that we talk about the most is just not getting bogged down in the day to day to not do what the company was built on, which was being out there adventuring. Like they were made doing mud riding, rock crawling, doing all the events, being out there with the other people who are in this aftermarket family, so to speak. And they are at the place of their life where they're more complacent. They just want to run the business. They don't want to travel half of the year and do events and whatever. It's like, yeah, but we don't get to slow down. Like we have to still keep being relevant, especially because like, you know, between new products and being relevant, I feel like those are our two back and forth. Do you want new products or do you want to go to shows? And it's like, no, we have to do both. Well, what do you mean we have to do both? You know, it's like, what do you mean you build the company on doing both? Like, why are you arguing with me? You know, and so I think that that's really the struggle is as some of us third generation are coming into more like two of us are actually on the board. Two of us really have a voice, whether people want to hear it in a room or not, like aka our family. I think it's just really having to like stay in the fight all the time to not be complacent. Because the few years that we did have a little bit of like, okay, we can just chill and relax, that's when we got passed up on truck. You know, that's when we got passed up on sponsorships that we did for years and years. When we took a couple years off, well, then we never got back into it. just different things. And the 50-year anniversary kind of showed a lot of that. And I think when they saw it all laid out, they were like, oh my gosh, we used to do all this all year long. We don't even do half of that now. And we're like, exactly, that's the point. That's what we've been saying, and I think that that's really the biggest thing. Aside from that, I feel like we all have a really good cohesive, like we all love to work. Like we are a work family. There's not anybody here who doesn't want to work. So that's a really good benefit that we do have. It's just trying to figure out like, hey, it's our turn. Can we take that torch and go forward? And they've let us have a few of those things. And the few things we have done, then it's a lot of pressure because you got to make sure, okay, I got to prove that it was worth it. You let me have that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
those
and
are
that-
probably our three biggest challenges. Yeah.
I think you're exactly right, because one thing that you got to love about Skyjacker is the fact that you guys are the business.
Right.
That you're not just some corporate where you throw your logo on some Jeeps and then they all go to Moab. No, you guys, you're like, hey, y'all know I work there. No, I'm family. Yeah, I mean that's what really, I think, because I think for maybe the last 15, 20 years, some of these bigger manufacturers kind of got corporate wise, and yeah, they'll do sponsorships and everything like that, but they have no skin in the game. They have no family. It wasn't so you guys have like a story to tell, and making sure that story, because people want to be a part of
Oh yeah.
that. They want to do business with people who have a story like that.
Yeah. Well, because they want to be able to relate and feel like they're the same when they talk to you. And I think that that's something that has come up in some of our podcasts that we've done is for the first handful of years, there was us and then Superlift, both of us from West Monroe, Louisiana, which is hilarious. And then like two others. And I think out of all of those, there's only two of us left out of all the original OG ones, because everyone else is, everybody's situation is different. And some people don't have a family to take it over, but a lot of people have sold out. God, when the family leaves or when those people leave, like the brands just die. And we hate to see that, because we do say that a lot of times. People ask, well, why do y'all partner with this company versus this company? This product might be better than this product, or vice versa. For us, we like to say, because we mean it, we're a people brand. We go where the people are. The product can always improve, but you can't always enjoy the people that are behind the brand or the loyalty that comes with that. And so if we have people who leave a company and go somewhere else, we're more than likely to follow suit, because we want the loyalty with that person that we built that relationship with. So we hate to see so many brands die out. There's enough in the world for all the competitors. I grew up in literally the same town as Superlift. Like you had to like be okay with having your competitor like running right next to you. There's enough to go around, but we do hate when the brands die out.
But what are you most excited about in the future?
Yeah, I'm excited. We have, like I said, we have a new engineer. We have a lot of really positive things happening. I feel like we've really worked a lot on processes in-house. We've worked a lot on just like personnel, just staff enjoyment, and like employee treats and employee incentives, and just trying to make it just kind of like re-spark wanting to be at Skyjacker. Right? You have some of these people who are 30 years, like, oh my gosh, here I go again the same day, whatever. Just trying to give different people opportunities to get out of the office, try to change stuff up. So I think for me, the betterment of the group as a whole is a betterment of everyone's production, right? That's how I feel. I'm happy and feel like I'm valued, like I want to work that much harder. And so I just think that we have a really solid group here, even though it's only 50 people. I do think that we are all energized to get better and to continue to work on what needs to be done. We started that when COVID hit. Up until that point, we weren't having like weekly meetings, which are some of the good things that corporate brings. It forces weekly meetings and things like that, quarterly meetings, board meetings, and we weren't doing a lot of that. So there was a lot of miscommunication. No one really felt like they were tied into each other as well. And so we have regular weekly meetings. I think morale is way better. We know where everybody needs to be, what needs to get better, working on warehouse things, bringing help in when needed. Like, I know those might seem small and like, oh, that's not the big picture things, but all of those things I think help give the big picture at the end of the day and help everybody produce their best, which only gives us more of a positive outcome.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have to laugh because you talk about Superlift and you guys being in the small little town, out of two ginormous brands, it's one small little town. Jesse, can you imagine, like, now Mallory's not going to say this, but here's what happens. The Skyjacker family pulls up to the gas station, and the Superlift guys pull up. They both grab wrenches out of the back in case there's a brawl going to happen. And they get on the CB and they go, hey, man, just a heads up, in case I don't come home tonight, know that it's the Superlift guys that did this. So I wonder what it's like. I want to go down there one time and like walk down the middle downtown and see. I feel like the Hatfield McCoys are on each side. It's going to be super cool. So I want to see if I can start up something at SEMA where maybe I'll come over and spread a rumor to you guys about Superlift, and then we'll have like a big ring and we'll get some people involved. Man, now that's marketing, Mallory. That's going to be a good. You want YouTube? You want 1 million YouTube subscribers? Let's get a brawl going down.
What's crazy is, and people know this, so I'm not like spilling anything, but the original owner and founder of Superlift worked for my grandfather. So it's like,
even better. Let's get him in the ring. Let's go.
No. Well, and another really important person in our industry, he is one of the runners of UA, which is Unreal Adventure, Trent McGee. He lived in West Monroe and worked at Superlift forever. And so when I came into this job and I'd be around Trent, we finally, one of the Keystone Big Shows, got to talking one night, and he was like, man, he's like, I'm okay to work with Skyjacker now. He was like, man, I was diehard Superlift, and I was like, hey, come on. He was like, anyway, they're definitely between the employees. And if you really talk to people and you try not to make it sound so great, like my grandfather also was like a big old dude. And like, I've just heard stories. Like, I don't know if I'd have messed with him back in the day, but that was before my time.
All right, for those of you listening in, be ready. SEMA 2026 showdown in Vegas. We're gonna have it going. So we'll get the marketing team up. Have your grandpa, just be there, because he needs to start working out a little bit just to make sure he's in tip-top shape. Get your mom and your uncle out there, and I'll see what trouble I can start. But thank you very much for being on this. I'll let Jesse ask his last question, but appreciate you always. And then especially being part of the family business. That's awesome, and being part of it and helping us out today.
Yeah, of course.
Mallory, what I really appreciate about you is you may be focused on marketing, but you talk more like a leader. There's definitely some leadership stuff going on there, either in your makeup or in the training or what you guys are doing as a company. So I'm excited to see what you guys have coming down the pike in the future. How do people follow you or learn more about what you guys are doing?
Yeah, I feel like we're really good at socials on sharing a lot of the family side of it. So all of our Instagrams, we have a TikTok, Lord help us all, TikTok, Facebook. Our YouTube actually got hacked and cut off after like 30 years of that. So we are rebuilding that. So if you go to YouTube, you're like, there's nothing on here. We're trying. But also on our website at skyjacker.com, we actually flew a really great team in right before our 50-year anniversary and did a full documentary. And it's wonderful. It was right before my grandmother kind of went down health-wise. And oh man, it's just such a special thing. And you get to see a lot of the other family members and some employees. And so if you have time, that's on our web documentary.
Okay, great. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, Mallory, take care. We'll see you in SEMA.
Okay. Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
And there you have it, another high-octane episode of the Ride and Style podcast, wrapped up and ready to go. Your hosts, Jesse Stoddard and Josh Polson, shifted your automotive game into overdrive. If you're hungry for more insights, trends, and game-changing interviews from the automotive restyling universe, don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a glowing review. We'd also love for you to share this podcast with your gearheads, installers, and auto lovers network. Because remember, knowledge is power, but shared knowledge turbocharges the whole industry. For more expert resources to supercharge your business, cruise on over to autostylemarketing.com, your one-stop shop for everything automotive marketing. Until next time, keep those wheels spinning and your passion ignited. Thank you for riding in style with us. See you on the next lap.